Friends, welcome to Neville and Chat. Today, I want to speak about how to act from the 4D, and I want to talk about my journey. So today is day 125 of me being fully committed to the teachings of Neville Goddard. And I have told you before that I have noticed a lot of improvements. I can tell you that I have got a lot of insight and I have changed a lot. And I remember like half a year ago how bad in a position I was in. You know, I was feeling lonely, I was feeling that this stuff doesn't work, and I had a lot of how do I say it, like I was standing on both sides, you know. On one side I wanted to take action, so bad, even though those actions didn't bring much good, and on the other hand I wanted to believe so much in Neville Goddard's teachings, but it seemed so stretch-fat, you know, like having all this power, can we really have all this power? And so I went all in, I committed. And now, for example, I still have some problems, like when I have to act from the 3D, I always ask myself, how am I doing things, you know? Am I doing things from 3D perspective, like trying to achieve something with the 3D, or is it that I'm using the actions that are let me remember how Neville speaks about this action. So those actions that are feeling much natural, like, you know, inspired action is the word that I was looking for. Sometimes in the future I'll do an episode when I will talk about how my life changed, and I can do a recap about what happened. So that's the thing, you know, on what actions are inspired actions and what actions are the actions that we am trying to do in the 3D realm of things. And in the beginning it was very hard to not so much understand, but taking into account that all of this is imagined, like that we are all consciousness. It's very hard to accept that we are all consciousness, that nothing is real, and that, I mean, that this reality is much less solid than it looks like. And as I told you before, you know, when I'm thinking about that, my old way of thinking, very logical, very argumentative and argument based, would ask myself, was Neville like, are those just rambling, or was he a scam or artist scamming people, or was he actually telling the truth? And he said, I don't this is what I have experienced. I'm not talking about theory, but this is what I have experienced, I'm telling you. And he said that scriptures fulfilled itself through him. And it is interesting. Maybe I can talk next time, or some other time I can talk about my metaphysical experiences that helped me on my journey and led me to believe that these things are real. I mean, I think that the hardest part of these teachings is to accept that it takes time. Okay? And not just that it takes time. A big problem is also that we don't know whether or not we're doing it correctly, and it's very hard. Sometimes it's not easy to believe, and belief is a key component. It's a key component where we're told that we have to believe, and we can't look back. So we can't look at the 3D. We can't expect things to change while we are touching, I say touching, our 3D world with our inner feelings or inner sensory organs. What do I mean with that? I mean that I can grab a glass with my imaginary hand and just hold it. And the theory is, and I think it is true, that it will sometimes in the future transmute that into reality. So you or I will be led through a natural set of events to find ourselves with that kind of glass in our hands. So it's the same with money, etc., etc., etc. But a big problem I have with money is that, for example, let's say that you have, I don't know, 1K, $100,000 in your bank account, okay? And you say that you want another one, okay? Then let's say that I can imagine holding in my hand a block of money. But how can I know that that's not the money that I already have in my bank account and that I will be led to take it out to, I don't know, show it or to spend it on something? So how to imagine that it is additional money? That's a big part, because you can think that, okay, I want an apartment, and that may lead you to take a big loan and then having to repay that loan for, I don't know, 30 years, being enslaved for that time. So that's not preferable in my opinion. But on the other hand, living just in the 3D for a lot of people in this world, it's just nightmare. And so, I mean, that's, to me, it seems the only way out. The only way out of this reality that a lot of us have created. And you can feel that today I'm not very energetic. Today I don't feel that good. Usually the problem is that I have to work a job, and where I live there is no other job. And if I wanted to move where I would like to move, it's so expensive now that if I went to rent, I would actually take almost all of my monthly earnings to pay the rent. So it's very a tough spot at the moment. So I have to rely on the law to work, and that sometimes is a big hurdle to wait for it to work, and when we are forcing it, usually it doesn't work out the way we would like it to work. So I am doing everything that I can. I am trying my best. I can say that I feel progress, that things are changing, and I believe that I will continue with my experiment. So, but here we are to talk about some things regarding Neville. It's Neville and Chat, so we are chatting freely. So when you're here, feel free to ask questions. Let's chat. I am on my journey. I don't claim to know everything. I'm reading out, I'm studying it, I'm doing my best to understand Neville's teaching and to actually experience these teachings in my own life. And as it is our tradition, let's read some quotes from Neville. Now we have a quote from Feeling is the Secret, and it goes like this. Sensation precedes manifestation and is the foundation upon which all manifestation rests. So, sensations always precedes manifestations. Be careful of your moods and feelings, for there is an unbroken connection between your feelings and your visible world. Your body is an emotional filter and bears the unmistakable marks of your prevalent emotions. Emotional disturbances, especially suppressed emotions, are the causes of all disease. I think it's true, even though we didn't believe in the law. To feel intensely about wrong without voicing or expressing that feeling is the beginning of disease. In both body and environment, do not entertain the feeling of regret or failure, for frustration or detachment from your objective results in disease. Okay, interesting. Let's read that again. Sensation precedes manifestation and is the foundation upon which all manifestation rests. Be careful of your moods and feelings, for there is an unbroken connection between your feelings and your visible world. Your body is an emotional filter and bears the unmistakable marks of your prevalent emotions. Emotional disturbances, especially suppressed emotions, are the causes of all disease. To feel intensely about a wrong without voicing or expressing that feeling is the beginning of disease. Disease in both body and environment. Do not entertain the feeling of regret or failure, for frustration or detachment from your objective results in disease. Okay, interesting. Even without the metaphysical aspect, we could clearly agree with that. Another thing that I have noticed is that following Neville Goddard's teachings, I've noticed that a lot of the times instead of trying to solve a situation in the 3D, like moving and acting, etc., I do that in my 4D. I try to solve the situation talking with the person, speaking with them, or just imagining the outcome. And it's a great exercise, and I'm not doing that as much as I would like to have. Although I am getting better at it, and I am doing more of that. Okay, then we have another quote from Your Fate is Your Fortune. Doubt is the only force capable of disturbing the seed or impression. To avoid a miscarriage of so wonderful a child, walk in secrecy through the necessary interval of time that it will take the impression to become an expression. Tell no man of your spiritual romance. Lock your secret within you in joy, confident and happy that someday you will bear the son of your lover by expressing and possessing the nature of your impression. Then will you know the mystery of God said, "Let us make man in our image." So we have here in the beginning that doubt is the only force capable of disturbing that seed that we have planted and that we plant those seeds with our impressions. So how we impress on our subconscious or the mind soil our wish of what we want to have and of what we are. And then we have to walk in secrecy through the necessary interval. So it's going to take time to make the impression become an expression, so that we will express that. And he's telling us that we should lock this secret within us in joy, and to be confident and happy that someday you will bear the son of your lover. And that, I mean, that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful promise from Neville. And I'm here documenting my journey, and I'm happy that you find it interesting. Another quote: you must be in the consciousness of being or having that which you want to be or to have before you drop off to sleep. Once asleep, man has no freedom of choice. His entire slumber is dominated by this last waking concept of self. I think that it is interesting is that when I dream about some dreams and when I feel powerful or strong in my dreams, then I wake up also feeling strong, and that is an interesting aspect. But when I dream about being weak, then I usually wake up feeling weak, and then it's usually not a good feeling to have. So the world is telling us that we don't have something. The world is telling us that we are not good enough, that all those good things are for other people. But thinking rationally, what is the actual difference between you, me, us versus somebody else? It's just, genetic expressions of the genes, and we know that the genes can be changed. Like expressions of the genes, epigenetics. And so the difference, it's not much. Truly is about the self-concept, the who we believe that we are. And that's even a psychological way of thinking. So, yes. Another quote from Your Fate is Your Fortune. Be not afraid nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude. For the battle is not yours, but God's. You do not fight against your problem. Your problem will only live as long as you're conscious of it. Take your attention away from your problem and the multitude of reasons why you cannot achieve your ideal. Concentrate your attention entirely upon the things desired. Okay, beautiful. So, let's break it down. Let us not be afraid, nor dismayed by reason. So, reason is our only enemy in this instance, reasoning why we can't have something that we want to have. So, the battle is not yours, but God's. So, the Father, our Father, when you say I and my Father are one, you will feel like a force behind yourself. And when you say, my Father doeth the work, you're referring to this great power that will bring you to your desired goal. And it is a beautiful feeling, actually. When I say, for example, when I'm feeling down or feeling not powerful enough, I tend to usually see that when I say I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I, and I say, I let my Father do it the work. He has joy in giving. And we do not fight against our problems. Our problems will only live as long as we're conscious of them. And if everything is consciousness, and if everything is an expression of the impressions that have been put there, then it's logical to be that way. And so, let's take our attention away from our problems and multitude of reasons why we cannot achieve our ideal. And let's concentrate our attention entirely upon the thing desired. And you see, in this modern world, our attention, everyone is longing for our attention. And so, our attention is the most valuable thing there is. Not just according to Neville Goddard, but according to our modern society, which wants our attention so bad. So, guys, I'm happy that you enjoyed this video. Probably it wasn't my best one because I'm not feeling very energetic, but at the same time, it feels nice to be able to finish this chat with you and not being always perfect, even though as souls, beautiful souls, we are all perfect in our own sense. And so, until next time, I want to bless our life and let's dream and imagine together.